Hi, my name is Susan Dang, and the journal article that I will be presenting today is titled Self-Enhanced False Memory Across the Lifespan. Have you ever experienced an event that felt so true, but it turns out it never actually occurred? Well, this is because of false memories, and it happens to people even with the best memory. For example, in an experiment in 1995 conducted by Loftus, she was able to convince 25% of the participants that they were a lost child in the mall, even though they were full-grown adults. Well, this is from false memories, and they form through information being incorrectly encoded into the brain, interference of new and old memories, and when true and false information mix together to form a new memory. In the image to the right is a brain imaging data that showed that greater false memories resulted from three brain mechanisms. One, weaker true memory signals in the visual cortex during retrieval, which is shown in the green. Reduced monitoring of false memories in the prefrontal cortex during retrieval, which is shown in the blue, and a greater similarity in neural patterns in the temporal lobe, which is highlighted in the red. In the journal article, the Diess-Roediger-McDermott paradigm would be brought up a lot, and it's a psychological experiment to study false memories. And in the experiment, participants are to study a list of related words. So in the image we see on the left side where it says study, there are four different words: candy, sour, sugar, and bitter. And then afterwards, they were to recall those words by being asked if they've seen the word before. So on the right side, it would pop up on a computer that would say, have you seen this word before? And you would either click yes or no. And the words would be sugar, flag, sweet, and candy, for example. And then in the test, there would always be one lure word. And the lure word is basically a word that's related to the studied words, but was never shown to them previously. And participants would mistakenly remember the missing word. So, for example, the lure word in the image would be sweet, and participants would mistakenly remember seeing that word when they've never seen it before. And this shows that memory can adapt by focusing on the gist of events. In the review literature, Norman and Scatcher in 1997 found that older adults are more susceptible to false memories of lures than younger adults in the DRM paradigm. And in 2013, Rosa and Gutches found that high self-descripted words led to higher false alarms of lures than low self-descripted words. And in 2019, Wang and Ogar found that self-referencing when using the DRM paradigm led to higher false recognition rates in non-presented lure words. And the gap of literature is that it is unknown whether self-enhanced false memory can extend to adults or children. Research questions and hypothesis. The research questions were: what is the impact of self-reference on associative false memory in children, younger adults, and older adults? How do the mechanisms of false memory differ across age groups in terms of recollection versus familiarity? And can the self-enhanced false memory effect observed in younger adults be extended to children and older adults? And this leads to the hypothesis of self-referencing might affect false recollection and familiarity differently in different age groups. In the methodology section, there were two different phases. The first phase was the study phase. And in this phase, there were 29 children, 35 younger adults, and 39 older adults, which were the participants. And individually, they would be in an isolated room and handed three lists. The first list would have words plus their name on it, which represents self-reference condition. The second list would have words plus the name Li Ming, which represented other reference condition. And lastly, the third list would have words plus a red square on it, which represented a neutral reference condition. And they were told to memorize the words plus the type of reference they had, so either self, other, or neutral. And then they were handed three more lists 5 more times. And then after memorizing those two, they were given filler questionnaires irrelevant to the study. In this second phase, it was the recognition phase. 5 minutes after memorizing, they went onto a computer and random words started appearing. And they either had to click the button remember, know, or new. Remember is they definitely know that they've seen the word before. Know is almost like remember, but they had like a vaguer feeling about it. And new is a new word they've never seen before. And then they would also have to write down the type of reference they saw with the word if they've seen it before. So for the results, It was shown that people were more likely to have false memories when information was self-referenced. So if you see in the chart in the dark gray, they are higher than other references or neutral references, which show that they do impact the likeliness of forming false memories. And additionally, the age-related differences showed that younger adults had the highest false recognition rates since they were higher up in the graph at 0.7, while the rest were below. In the journal article, they also measured recollection and familiarity results. So basically, recollection is when you remember a memory accurately, like 100%, while familiarity is when you remember something more vaguely, like you think it happened, but you're not 100% sure. And results show that self-referencing led to better true recollection and true familiarity across all groups. So if you look at the top and bottom graph, the bar has rised from where they started, and where they started was at the bottom of the black line going straight through them. Additionally, younger adults were more prone to false recollection when self-referencing. This is shown on the top graph as the lighter gray, which represents younger adults, are higher above the children and older adults over 0.7, while the others are below it. But while younger adults were more prone to false recollection when self-referencing, older adults were more susceptible to false familiarity when self-referencing. So if you take a look at the bottom graph, it shows that older adults had a higher false familiarity rate when self-referencing as they represent the white and are at 0.6, while the other two, children and younger adults, are below. And between the younger adults and the older adults, the children did not show much of an effect on false recollection and familiarity as they both remained the same. For my discussion and conclusion, the first question was, what is the impact of self-reference on associative false memory in children, younger adults, and older adults? And results showed that it varied. Children had no impact whatsoever, but younger adults increased in false memories and adults decreased in familiarity. The second question was, how do the mechanisms of false memories differ across age groups in terms of recollection versus familiarity? And results show that recollection plays a stronger role in false memories for younger adults, and familiarity is more influential for older adults. Lastly, can self-enhanced false memories observed observed in young adults be extended to children and older adults? Results show that self-enhanced false memories observed in younger adults is not fully extended to children or older adults, as children had no change at all and older adults only had a change in familiarity. These are my references, and thank you for listening.